So want to welcome all of you here again tonight. This is our Thursday night Zoom webinar. It's our, we try to do training and some interviews. In the past, we've had quite a few of our top leaders, Cynthia Brigante, Eli Angelina Dafish, Fred Brown, Marilee Leslie. We've had many of the top people in Enagic join us, and we like to interview, and we like to interview people because we find out, first of all, they're real people. They go through a lot of the same things that you and I go through, and they have some of the struggles that we experience. Not all of us come from a direct sales or network marketing business background, but when I came into this business myself about 13 years ago, one of the first people I ever heard speak in person was Bob Gridelli. And I happened to be down visiting the Torrance office, and I like to always visit the offices, get to know the owners of the companies, and see the factories of anything I get involved with, including products I might carry in my store. And so when I first heard Bobby speak, I was down in Torrance. Now, Bob was a 6A at the time, and I was a 1A or a 2A at that time. And I looked at Bobby and I thought, Bobby's a normal guy, okay? He and I are not very much different. And I told myself, if Bobby can do it, I can do it. Romy Verdero was a 6A4. And I said, if Romy can do it, I can do it. And so I set my goals on 6A4. But a lot of us, you know that Bob Gridelli, you've seen him on the CDs and the videos online with Pat Boone and Elvis Stoico, and he is the demo king. You know, Bobby has been doing demos, and he's the one that most all of us pattern our presentations after. Matter of fact, to this day, I will still do is put a CD in, or excuse me, DVD, or start a recording on my laptop, push play, hand someone some water, and introduce them to Bob Gridelli. Now, Bobby, first of all, I want to tell you I appreciate you being on tonight. And why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself?
Okay.
There you go. First of all, how long have you been with Enagic? And how were you introduced? But tell us a little bit before that. What were you doing before Enagic? What'd you do for a career? What was your life like then?
Sure. Like, where'd he go? Where's the young guy?
David, where are you, David? Right?
Who was I talking to earlier? Anyway, the 19-year-old.
Yeah, Dave Holston.
So kind of like him, you know, from a young age, I kind of had the entrepreneurial spirit. I turned a hobby from high school into a business, and I had half my life was in the automotive trim industry, and we used to service car dealers for aftermarket accessories, you know, custom striping, moldings, different things like that, and. Never went to college. I always knew, you know, I kind of felt like school was teaching me how to go to work for someone else. I already knew I didn't want to do that. So that's kind of what I did. I grew up in Chicago, moved out to California, Southern California, when I was like, I don't know, wow, it seems like yesterday, but it was when I was 28 years old. And and then I got introduced to, I started my auto trim business up out here. And in that process, it was around 1995 that a friend of mine introduced me to Daniel D. McCauley. And that's when I got my first I got bit by the bug of network marketing, direct sales, the idea to be able to have a business that, I didn't have to have employees, overhead, like traditional business. So, so most of my life I was in in Robert Kiyosaki's, the four quadrants. So I was in the S quadrant, the small business quadrant. And so, as you know, many of you might have small businesses. You just like a job, though, even though it's much better. I'll take that any day to be a slave to my own business over someone else's business. But I was in that quadrant, for most of my life, and so I got introduced to this industry and got excited about it. That's where I first met Daniel. Got involved in a company with Daniel and in the travel industry. And I always loved to travel like most people. If you ask people if they had enough time or money, what would most of us do, right? Most people say they'd travel more, spend more time with family, friends, do whatever the things they love to do. And so unfortunately, that company it was a new company. And unfortunately, like most startups, it didn't make it. So after 2 years, it went out of business. And that was a sad day for me because I was just getting, I was just starting to do really good in that company and get excited about what was going on, and tried a couple other companies after that tried to take our travel concept and put it into their businesses. And both of those went out of business also. So I tried a few different companies, then I got into a company most people heard about, because I got tired of the new companies going out of business. So I figured, well, I better get in with an established company. And I got involved with Herbalife for about 6 years. And and so I've always been into health and wellness, exercise, try to eat right. My mom lived almost 98, and she had the philosophy of, I think she taught us, if you eat good most of the time, you can eat whatever you want some of the time. So, moderation, balance. And so the health and wellness industry I liked also. Unfortunately, Herbalife was, I spent 6 full-time years in. I got rid of my auto trim business, and it was kind of a struggle for me. Never did really get real successful with it, or what I consider successful. Some people might say that was good, making $5,000–6,000 a month. But then I had a team in Japan and one in India, while my business was taking off a little bit, and then something happened to both my leaders, and the business kind of collapsed. And so here I was at, let's see, how old was I then? I was 40, when I started, about 45 years old, and my business collapsed. I literally was, I'm 45 years old. I didn't have my auto trim business anymore because I had made a decision, I was going to make it. I was going to do this, and I was going to do it full time. And so after that kind of crashed, I ended up, and so imagine you guys, 45 years old, was an entrepreneur most of my life. And here I am, had to go get a job. And so, yeah, what would you guys think? That was called a winter year for me, okay? And, fortunate for me, and sometimes we wonder why these things may be happening in our lives. And so, but I'll share this part of the story, because if it didn't happen exactly the way it did, that I ended up taking this job. I went to work for a good friend of mine. We've known each other, since we were teenagers. Danny Sicarella out of Houston. He lives on the Gulf, a place called Kemah, Texas, just outside of Houston. And he had been trying to recruit me for years to come work with him. And he has a company called Global Bird Management. And that is just birds, like flying birds. And he does big contracts with the military, the airlines, oil refineries, big companies, solving their bird problems. So actually, that was a sad day for me, you guys. I had to leave California. I had to leave the beach where I loved living here, you know, blocked from the beach in Manhattan Beach and Hermosa Beach. And I had to leave, and I had to go to Houston, Texas, where it's hot, humid, mosquitoes. And I literally had to live on the road for about 2.5 years. And so I was kind of running a crew with Danny, and we'd go do these jobs on a military base for like 3 months at a time, living out of hotels. You know, I didn't get to come back to California, you know, I got to come back maybe once for a week in those 2.5 years. And guys, that was a hard job. You know, what's that show on TV? It's on Discovery Channel, Dirtiest Jobs or something.
Yep.
Right. So Daniel could probably be on that show. I mean, most of the time we're working in man lifts, you know, 60 to 100 feet in the air. You know, we're using some heavy equipment, shooting steel pins into beams. We're hanging, you know, specialty netting to keep birds from nesting, you know, in the hangars. Sometimes we had to literally clean up the bird crap. So that's why I could be considered that job, one of those dirtiest jobs. So, you know, that was 2.5 years of my life doing something I didn't understand why I had to do that. But it is the way things needed to be where I'm at today. And I'll explain that. So I finally got a 2.5-month break. Before we were really busy. Sometimes we didn't get but a week off between contracts. And then we had a big contract that was 2.5 months out. So I finally got to come home to what I considered my new home from Chicago, moving to California. And I got to go back to the beach and take a vacation after 2.5 years. And it was while I was on that vacation, you guys, that I got the call from a friend of mine, Arlene, who I had met back in that travel business. So how things happen. And this industry, you know, is all really about, of course, we have amazing products that we sell and market, right? But what are we really in? We always hear Mr. Oshiro talk about it. Human-based marketing, right? This industry is really about building relationships. And so that relationship that Arlene, she's a Filipino girl, friend of the family, and known her for, you know, 25 years. Saw all their kids grow up since they were little, but she's the one who made that call to me while I'm here vacationing, checking up on me, how you doing, what are you doing these days? You know, then she asked me, have you ever heard of Kangen water or this company called Enagic out of Japan? I go, no, what's that? And then she started telling me stories. She told me a story of her daughter, who I'd known. She was a little girl. She was 21 then, and how she had come down with, I guess I'll try to avoid any medical claims. So you're recording this. So let's just put it this way. She had a physical challenge at 21 years old that most people, I would never expect someone to get that at 21, young, beautiful girl. I expected someone to be older, overweight, and, you know, unhealthy to get what she had. And then they tell me about this water, and she starts drinking the water, and she got amazing results. She's back to leading a normal life again. Then they tell me all these stories from their church. I had a hard time believing it, you guys, like most of you probably heard stories before. But I knew Arlene wouldn't lie to me. You know, she's a good Christian woman, and we known each other. We had a good relationship. And so she did what the good networker does, says, hey, Bob, hold on a second. Didn't tell me what she was doing, but she came back with Eli Dafish on the line. And so she did a 3-way call with myself and Eli. She knew that she had the beauty of a 3-way call, you guys, if you don't know, is she had the credibility with me, right? But she was brand new. She was just excited, you know, telling me some stories. So she brings on the expert, which was Eli, and to bridge that gap. So there we have the credibility and the expert on the line. And I think I kept Eli on the line for about an hour on that call, asking all kinds of questions. And they invited me down to Enagic's first office. Jim, I don't know where you saw me, but the first office, was it at the first office or the nice one now?
It was actually in Torrance.
Okay. So the first office was in Gardena. It was a small office. They invited me to a demonstration. I came into that. It was about 40 people jammed in a room. It was Eli Daffish and Michael Maxwell, the water expert. And I sat in the back of that room. My friend Danny Ciccarello, who I was working for, and I invited them to come down and take a look with me. He was actually came to town because we were saying goodbye to a friend of ours dying of cancer, and a guy who used to work with us, only 38 years old. And so I invited them. We watched a 2.5-hour presentation. And you guys, it was way too long. And I'm going to tell you this for a reason. So here's me sitting in the back of the room. I'm watching this water expert, so much information. I'm watching Eli Daffish, who's like a motivational speaker. He's owned his own network marketing company before. And all that information is doing what? It's going in one ear, out the other. Just too much information overload. But what did I remember? And that's what most people remember. I remembered the visuals of the demonstration stuck out in my mind. The pH test, the ORP test, the tea bags, the cleaning the tomatoes, right? And so even me, a guy with some experience in the direct sales industry, right? I sat in the back of the room and I thought I could never do this as a business. So I'm telling you this for a reason, you guys. When you're doing a presentation, people are watching what you're doing and they're thinking, can I do what he does? And some of you might be too good right now. And some of you might be just starting off, so this is going to be good for you. So I left that meeting that night. That was in my head. Not a good business for me. Got to become a water expert. I got to be a motivational speaker like Eli. And even though I'd been in some other companies, I didn't do a lot of big meetings. I was, just like most people, you get up in front of a big crowd and, I was shaking and just like most of us. And so you guys, but I did think about the water and I understood living water, dead water. And I couldn't go back to drinking bottled water after I saw that presentation. A couple days later, I met Eli, my friend, Arlene, Danny and his wife, and we all met down at the Torrance office. By then, they had moved to the Torrance office. And I invested in an SD501 just as a customer. So why just as a customer? Because I was already thinking that presentation. I already blocked out the business in my mind, right? And Eli told me one thing that day, and I didn't like Eli when I first met him. Jim's laughing. we laugh about, I can say that to Eli's face because we laugh about that. Because he came across to me as a pushy salesman type. And you guys, he was just trying to pound me about the business. And I just kept telling him, no, not interested. I must have told Eli 20 different occasions on the phone, in person, not interested in the business. Eli, leave me alone. But I got that machine, the water got in me. So what he said was, he goes, well, fill out the W-9 form because I know maybe in the next year you might refer about 10 or 12 people and your machine will be free. So we all like discount, free is even better. So, and he said, and besides Danny Ciccarello, his wife wants to buy a machine today, so you're already going to get your first referral check. So I agreed to that, you guys. He said, mark my words, this machine, it will take on a life of its own. It's like it had little legs. And, I would go like this. This guy's smoking something. And I didn't believe Eli. But it's funny, he was exactly right, exactly as he said. Danny takes his machine home to Houston, Texas, hooks it up. His parents come to visit. They start drinking water from the machine. He tells them it's just a filter from Japan. Drink it, teaches them how to use it. Doesn't tell them it's anything special. After 7 days, I think I can say this one, Jim, since it's not really a disease. After 7 days, his father goes, I want to know what's in that machine. You're not telling me something. And Danny goes, why? And his dad goes, last night's the first time I slept all night in 10 years. He suffered from insomnia. And so Danny goes, well, here, we had one DVD back then, Jim, you probably remember. Just think about that, you guys. 13 years ago, so we just celebrated our 13-year anniversary in April, just this past April. And 13 years ago, we had one tool that showed the demonstration you see today. And it was a 45-minute DVD. And pretty much DVDs are obsolete today, right? Not too many people use them anymore. But we had that DVD. Danny told his father, sit down and watch this presentation, because I don't really know how to explain it to you. I just got this thing a week ago. And just watch this, it'll explain all about it. His father, after watching that DVD, goes, I don't care how much that thing costs. I want one waiting for your mother and I in Chicago. He paid an extra $100 for next day shipping. And Danny got so excited about what it did for his parents that you couldn't shut him up. You know, what Eli told me started to happen. You get the water into people and it will take on a life of its own. So I wasn't in Houston, right? I wasn't helping him. No, we didn't have an office there. He had no support. And the guy gets so excited that in the first 30 days, he exposes 50 people to the water and that DVD. And the guy makes 27 sales in the first 30 days. While I'm vacationing out in California, staying at my friend's, sleeping at my friend's house in down by Little Tokyo, or Dr. Dave's house in Manhattan Beach. And I rented a car because I didn't have a car anymore. I had a company truck back in Houston. So you guys, here I am in California. You know, I got no home, no car. I'm staying at some friends' houses. These checks start showing up, and my machine is paid for in the first 30 days. So kind of what Eli told me started to happen. So I started to think, and part of the reason I was fighting in the business, besides that long demonstration I saw, was I decided I was going to get into another direct sales company in the travel industry, because I love to travel, and that first one didn't make it. And this company had been around for 5 years, and I wanted to do travel. And that's why I was fighting Eli also, not interested. I'm going to be busy with this business. So I had one more month before I had to go back to work, and my machine is paid for in the first 30 days. So what would you guys think? Maybe this is a good business, right? Danny doesn't know what he's doing. He's got a DVD. So what did that do for me? That DVD took the block away from my own thinking that I had to know too much to do the business, because Danny didn't know anything, right? So if you see somebody else doing it, you automatically know you can do the same thing, right? Just like Jim said in the beginning, he saw me and he saw Romy and go, wow, if they can do it, I know I can do it. So I saw Danny, what he did in 30 days. I had 30 days before I had to go back on the road with him to work, that job that I didn't really like doing, right? So I go, okay, I'm going to expose at least 50 people. I'm just going to copy what he did. I got to expose 50 people in the next 30 days. And you guys, I did that, and every day I was going to see somebody that I knew. I'd get on the phone, call them up, say, listen, I got something so important for your health, physical health and financial health. I need to come see you tomorrow or the next day. What time's better for you? Because I didn't ask anybody. I said, I'm coming to see you. It's so important. I didn't explain it over the phone. They'd ask me questions. I go, listen, it's too hard to explain over this phone. Matter of fact, you'd have to go all the way to Japan to see this. And fortunate for you, I happen to have this with me, and I'm going to bring it to your house tomorrow. So guys, I literally took my machine to people's home everywhere I went. So you hear people talking about, you know, how do they do the business? They deliver water, you know, some people deliver water. You know, granted, I give out water, you guys, but in the beginning, I never gave out a lot of water, because I had a little different of a plan. I brought my machine to their house. And I figured, you know, rather than me give them water, they needed to see this thing. They needed to see how I was making the water. And so I would go to their house and I'd say, listen, I highly recommend that you invite anybody you care about also to see this. while I'm bringing it to your house. So they might have 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, however many people they were going to have there. I was just showing up at that specified time with a machine. I brought my machine in the house, you guys. I go, here, you guys are going to sit down in the living room. I got a 45-minute DVD presentation for you to watch. I'd sit them all down. While they're watching the presentation, you guys, I'm in the kitchen trying to figure out, now I'm brand new, right? Don't know what I'm doing. I wasn't a plumber, had no experience with plumbing, but I got to figure out how to hook up this machine to their kitchen faucet in 45 minutes before the DVD's over. And sometimes that was a challenge. It's not like today, Jim, where we got all kinds of adapters from Ion Faucet or, where you could buy. Literally, you guys, a few times, I just had what was within the machine to try to hook it up. And sometimes I had to leave them and go to the hardware store and try to buy whatever else I could buy while that 45-minute DVD's going on. On 2 occasions, I had to use the garden hose, where I found this thing that screws on the end of a garden hose, and it has a little like a nipple, and I would shove the white hose on it so I could run water through the machine on their patio. But I did whatever it took, you guys. And so in those 30 days before I had to go back to the job, I exposed more than 50 people in those 30 days. I think more like 60 or 70 people, because I was running every day. We used to say we were going from 8 in the morning till faint at night. And I was doing sometimes 1 demo a day, 2, sometimes 3 demos a day, where I was doing that and exposing people. And you guys, after that 30 days of exposing 60 or 70 people, it just exploded here in Los Angeles, besides what Danny was doing in Houston. And without making any income claims, because you guys, these are things we have to be very careful about, especially nowadays. I guess I can say it this way. I had to call Danny Cigarella up on the phone and asked him if he could give me a raise for how much money I made in the first 2 months. He said no, he couldn't afford to do that. So I said, I can't afford to go back to work for you. He wished me well, I wish him well, and that was it. The rest is history, you guys. We just kept doing the same thing over and over. It was just getting the message out. We had now imagine this too, and Jim, this is why our business took off fast. Because people looked at me, remember what I said in the beginning, they look at you and see what you're doing, and can I do what that person does? Well, what was I doing? Nothing very difficult, right? I was playing a DVD that did the whole presentation for me and just making them water. Even the DVD even explained the machine for me, you guys. After watching that at 30 days, I watched the presentation so many times. After that, the next month I started doing the fun part of the demonstration, the visual that everybody likes, and that's what they remember. I started doing that myself. I played the DVD for the first 10 minutes, which explained all about Enagic, the company. And then I would do the presentation, the fun part myself. And then back then I would even show the compensation plan on the DVD also. Until I watched it so many times the next month, I learned to do that also. So by the end of 90 days, we had over 100 sales, became 6A, and was having fun doing that presentation, you guys, and just, we just kept going. I brought in a core group of people, and you guys, to get the 6A, I only made 7 direct sales myself. And 2 of those were just happened to be, one was just a customer, a girl I knew who just bought it, wealthy family, wasn't going to share it with anybody. And the other one was a realtor I met standing in line at a restaurant, and she was just a customer. So 5 people, you guys, I worked with them. Who do you know? Who do you know? Let's go show them, and that's how we got to 60, or 100 sales in 90 days, and got to 6A. And then, from there, I had 2 of those guys going for 6A right away. So we got to 6A2, I think in, 7 months or 8 months. And then, you know, the rest is history. 6A22, 23, 24, now 6A9-5. And we have, I don't know, I have to look at the report, you guys. We have, I think, over 500 6As and above on our team, maybe more than that. And our team is now doing between 2,500 sales to probably approaching, I'm sure we'll hit 3,000 sales a month this year. And just amazing. The saying, change your water, change your life, can truly happen. If it happened to us, it can happen to anything, you know, any one of us. And if it weren't for Enagic and this amazing company and product that we have, I would have never met my beautiful wife, you know, 7,000 miles away on a little island in South Korea. And I wouldn't have my amazing children today, you know, which are the joy of my life. And so with everything that's going on, this craziness that we started this year with Jim, we were anticipating 2020 to be our best year ever. And it's still going to be our best year ever, but not in the way we ever would have imagined, right? And but we're blessed. We're not experiencing anything like a lot of people are. You know, we're used to working from home. We've been doing it, you know, for a long time now. Granted, I miss going out and, you know, seeing all our team at the live demonstrations like you probably do. But as we're sitting here right now, what this has caused us to do is to work, I'll say, smarter than harder, right? In the beginning, I used to work hard. I was putting on 4,000 miles a month on the rental car. You guys, I was so busy, I never even bothered buying a car. 4,000 miles a month, I just change out a rental car every month. And I kept the rental car for over a year because I was so busy, until I finally decided. I saw my Mercedes sitting on the corner of a dealer one day, and I just made a U-turn, and I said, that's my vehicle. And that became the water vehicle. I got a Mercedes SUV. When I opened the back, it had a plastic tray in the back. As soon as I saw that, I go, this is the car. It was a special edition SUV. That plastic thing was for the water, you know. It was perfect. So, but, you know, so what's happening to us is just we're adapting, you know, and we're doing a lot of Zoom meetings. I was on a Zoom with our team in New Zealand and Australia just a few days ago. I've got to be on a Zoom meeting. Tomorrow I'm on a Zoom meeting with our Vietnamese group. Next week I'm on with our group in Mexico. So it's creating something, you know, we're taking a challenge, right? And we're taking that challenge and we're utilizing tools now to overcome the challenge and even grow the business faster, I believe. You know, even Enagic had a record month in, you know, March when all this was happening. So that's just the beginning signs of what's going to happen. Jim, I saw yesterday, or I heard yesterday on the news, 76 million people will be looking for something else. I'll call it a plan B, right? That they won't be affected when and if this ever happens again. So they're specifically looking for an opportunity that they won't be affected by what's going on like most of us, right? So what does that tell all of us today? Everybody out in our teams, all team Enagic, okay, needs to step up our game and start exposing more people. I don't care. Even for me, you guys, I'm not real good with social media, but this is the time that I'm spending learning more about social media. I've bought some trainings from social media experts that I'm watching, you know, through Eric Worre. You know, whatever you have to do, even us old timers, right? We can learn, right, Jim?
That's right.
And because, why do we need to learn it? Because if you're stuck at home, we got to be able to get out into what? The world. That's why they call it the World Wide Web, right? The world, as Daniel says when he closes some of his trainings, right? Mankind is our business. The world becomes our office, but God is still our boss. So for the world to become our, office, we got to get out there and reach more people. So, the internet, that's why you see so many young ones coming into Enagic today that are prospering, you guys, because this is like, this is no big deal for them. Social media is how they're growing up, right? The millennials, they know how to expose more people faster than we did, doing it, what I call maybe the old-fashioned way, or face-to-face marketing, right? One-on-one, of course with bigger meetings, but that they're good at that. So we need to learn and become good at it ourselves. So we're taking this time, to learn some new skills, Jim. So as you'll see soon, I'm going to start doing some of my own, Zoom meetings and trainings, and here very shortly.
You mentioned that you'd have your internet all set up for that, so that's awesome. I know Daniel's on the call tonight. He's out there listening too. But the thing is, it comes down to this. You hit it right on the head of the nail. It's like, what are you willing to do? You went out for 90 days and you just kicked butt. Okay, 90 days, all out massive action, because you knew that it's easier to build faster than it is slower. And you built a success story. People in this industry, in this business, they work at spare time and expect a big check. You work at spare time, you get a spare time income. Part-time income, full-time income. However, you find the right people. I mean, what if you found a Bob Gridelli or Daniel D. McCauley or Eli or whoever, What if you found a person like that and they went out like you did, Bobby, and just went crazy with this business for 90 days? You've just done is you've locked in an income that's going to last you for years. Because even if Bob was to disappear, he's still got that huge, massive team that's going to continue to build a business. Now, one thing, Bobby, you mentioned that you would put a DVD in, push play, or a video and push play. And I think I know exactly which video you were talking about earlier. And push play, hand them some water, or hook up the machine, make some water for them. But one thing I didn't hear you say, that you didn't get scientific with people. You didn't go in talking about all the science of the hydrogen and all the antioxidants and all this stuff. You shared a DVD. You gave them some water and showed them how simple it is to do the same thing. Is that correct?
Simple and duplicatable, Jim.
That's right.
Actually, those 90 days, after those 90 days, we did that, back to back, 90 days. We did that for 2 years. Probably went strong and hard for the first 2 years. And what we did in those 2 years continues to grow today, whether we work or not. And of course, we continue to, I've gotten, it's been amazing. I've gotten to, not work as hard as I was back in the beginning, and I've got to spend time. My 2 little ones are 4 and 6, and I've got to stay home with them, mostly all the time. We travel the world. They go with us everywhere we go. We do events. When we do go around the world, we do Enagic business while we're there, but the kids have gone all around the globe. And that was because of that all-out massive action, keeping it simple and duplicatable through those 2 years. And so the DVD or the video you guys see online with me, whether it's, with Pat Boone or Elvis, that is how we did our presentation, just how you see it. It was simple, right? You didn't hear me in that presentation get into, all the science behind it, right? And that people copied, you guys. To this day, 13 years later, I meet people around the world and they still say they're using, just like your young guy today, is using that presentation. And I found out I speak like 8 different languages.
Yeah.
And they've dubbed, India thanks me. I meet guys from India that are 6A or above. Oh, thank you so much. This is how we built our business, just showing your presentation. So that was key, keeping it simple and duplicatable, and that's how we attracted, they call it attraction marketing today, the internet marketers, right?
Right.
Well, it was still the same back then, attraction marketing. What Jim just said, we all do the same thing. We share the product, we share the opportunity, and we promote and build for events, right? Those 3 things, all of us do the same thing. You just have to learn to master those 3 things. And today there's more tools than ever that you can use to get the message out. And as Jim said, when you build your business fast, so the first thing you need to do is create a fast product story, right? Because if you're sharing the product, whose story are you going to share? So here's our product story, which I created fast because I drank the right amount of water and did it, faithfully. I noticed more energy, sleeping better, lost 10 pounds in 4 weeks, no more swelling in my knees when I'd run or work out. I can say that because that's not a health claim, right? That's just generic stuff. So who wants more energy? Who wants to sleep better? Who wants to lose weight? And who wants, no more, joint problems like I was getting in my knees? Everybody, right? So if you create that story fast, you can tell that story. I did that in the first 30 days. That attracts more people. There's attraction marketing, right? They're more attracted to your story. Then because of the all-out massive action, we created a sizable check right away, right? That it's okay if you do a part-time check, whatever you're doing. But if you can do whatever you're doing part-time, you have to do it, certain amount of time every day and do income producing activities. You can still create a decent check because the income, so here's promoting the business, right? The business now create a sizable check that attracts, there's attraction marketing again, right? You said Daniel's on. So how do you think, what happened to Daniel? Daniel was, Daniel's a professional. He was used to making a lot of money in this industry. Daniel saw what I made in the second month. That attracted him to me. We never worked together since back in the day, right? When we first met, but we always stayed in touch. We kept, we'd see each other for lunch, dinner, building relationships, right? And so when he saw what I made, he started calling me. And you guys, I remember like yesterday. So never prejudge anybody on your list. I don't care what you think, okay? Because in my own head, I thought Daniel wouldn't be interested. In my head, I was prejudging him. But I still didn't let that stop me, right? You got to get out of your own way. Because the reason why I thought, because Daniel was focused on another business and he was already telling me his plans, right? So I thought, right, oh, Daniel's not going to be interested in this. But when he started calling me 2 days in a row to ask me about the marketing plan, then I thought, well, I don't know, maybe he is interested, right? Then the third day he said, can you come over to the house tomorrow and draw out this whole marketing plan for me? And when I laid it out for him, he said, this is the best marketing plan I've ever seen in my 30 years in direct sales. And if this water does what you say it does, I'm in. And I did something I don't normally do, Jim. I said, get me 5, because I don't say this to anyone. I think it was only Daniel I said this to. I said, get me 5 of your sickest friends and family. Why did I say that? Because if he brings me some healthy people, yeah, they might notice something, but I needed some people I could really help, right? His mom was on a walker. His aunt couldn't climb the stairs anymore. His two best friends, Al Dorsey and Dr. Bob Lee, had all kinds of health challenges. And I can't remember who the fifth person was. Daniel will have to refresh my memory. And, but I brought the machine to his house, did that demonstration in his kitchen, played the DVD about the company, and then I filled everybody up from the machine. They came to me, right? So I wasn't delivering a lot of water. They were coming to Daniel's house. We filled them up. I said, okay, you need to drink this water fresh maybe in 3 days. So I'll come back and do another demonstration in 3-4 days. And I suggest you invite anybody you care about. So the next demo at his house, we had 10 people. The next demo, so they all come back with their containers and we refill them at Daniel's house. And then they come back in 3-4 days and invite some more people. Then we had 15, then we had 20 people after that. So I would go twice a week to his house to do a presentation, and they would come there and be like a filling depot. We had 50 people coming to Daniel's house by the time that was done. And he finally had to take it out of his house because, you know, the neighbors thought he was a drug dealer or something. They were trying to figure out what was in these containers that were, you know, that they're leaving with water from Daniel's house. And so I did that. I did that at Dr. Dave Lessman's house in Manhattan Beach too, twice a week, so people could refill up there fresh. So when I found someone who wanted to go, I would do a demo at their house twice a week so they could, so I wasn't delivering a lot of water. They're all coming to me, right? At certain locations where I was doing that. And that's how we also, it blew up and we took off fast.
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what it comes down to is, what are you willing to do? You know, what are you willing to do? Will you do what others won't? So tomorrow you can have what others don't, you know? And that's what you did. You did things that other people wouldn't do, you know, and you talked to people that other people probably wouldn't talk to. And I caught myself early on in my career with the Enagic that I prejudged some people and I placed them down lower in my team because, you know, they're my cell, but I put them underneath someone else. Well, they shocked me. They became 6As and they had other 6As underneath them. It cost me a lot of money. And so, yeah, it just, you know what, treat it like a real business, income producing activities. And you know what, say you've been in the business for 6 years, 8 years, 9 years, whatever, 10 years, and you're not a 6A or you're not a 4A or 5A. Get up in the morning, treat tomorrow or treat today like your first day of the rest of your life, and go out there and do the things that Bobby did. Share with people. 2 years. Bobby poured it on for 2 years. Can you do it for 2 years? You know what? To earn a multiple 7-figure income on a yearly basis, I mean, what are you willing to do to build your business? How much time are you willing to put into it? I mean, I know I have friends going to college, gone back to college in their 40s and 50s. And it's like, why? I mean, I listen to Rush Limbaugh, you know, conservative talk radio, but Rush didn't go to college. He makes $50-60 million a year because he found a passion and fell in love with it and started doing it. Make this your passion. Bobby, why don't you give us one more word of it to send these people off with tonight? And I really do appreciate you being on the call tonight.
Anytime. My pleasure to be here and give back for, you know, the life that we were able to have because of Enagic and someone sharing it with me. I think back 13 years ago, so this is a good thing to share with everybody. What if my friend didn't tell me about this? How would my life be today? It certainly would be, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be what it is today. I wouldn't be with my beautiful wife and my beautiful children. Just think about that. One decision, if she didn't share this with me, then, so I always thank her, you know, for sharing Kangen water and Enagic with me because it totally changed our life. And I think about, and you might think about this, what if I didn't make the decision to invest in an SD501 13 years ago? Where would my life be today? And someone told me that was called the butterfly effect. A simple decision you make today, and I didn't know what that was, so I had to Google it. There's a movie called The Butterfly Effect. And it means the ripple effect that a decision you make, I mean, that decision I made to invest in SD501 13 years ago has now, that ripple, like you throw a rock in the water and it creates a ripple, right? It has spread to over 100,000 people all over the world, and is growing by thousands every month just because of that one decision 13 years ago. Of course, you got to do what Jim said. You know, once you make that decision, you have to take action and do the work, put in the time and effort. And but just, you know, make that decision to start, just like Jim said, start like you're brand new. You know, start like you know, start your list again. You know, always keep adding to your list. You know, we're constantly, I just made one, two, you know, in the last month, like three more direct sales. You know, these are people I've been dripping on for two of them were 2 years, right? They're in the pipeline. You got to keep filling that pipeline. One of them was someone I met 6 months ago. That one happened faster down in Mexico. And, you know, because of her, we'll see, you know, she could be I don't think she'll be, you know, you never know though. Look at me. So I have to look at myself when I say, I don't think she'll be interested. She won't maybe do the business like I did. She's all about the health right now. She's writing a book called Sell Side Out. And it's her 4 protocols to health. And the water is going to be the missing link. And she should be just getting her machine today up in the mountains in Colorado. And so she's going to, of course, that's going to be added to her book. And so she's just going to refer a lot of people to me. And of course, I told her I got her ID number, so I can just put them under her ID number. So, you know, so just, you know, keep adding to the list, keep exposing people. And just like I said earlier, 76 million people, you guys. That's probably just here in America. So imagine if you think about it on a global scale, right? How many millions of people are looking for what we have? So you got to get out there and you got to expose them and you got to let them know what we have, let them make a decision, spread the message of true health globally, and, you know, help other people besides yourself change your water, change their lives.
Well, I agree 100%, you know, and, you know, I really appreciate you being on here tonight, Bobby. Tell your wife, thank you, because I know you took time away from her and the kids tonight.
Oh, thank you.
We'd love to have you come back again real soon and get a little bit more into your thoughts and perspectives on Enagic and how they can build their business even to higher levels.
Sure.
Like I said, I appreciate you being on tonight. I'm going to unmute everybody so everybody can say hi. Someone just
anybody, you do Q&A?
Yeah, we can do it if you're up to it. I don't want to.
No, I'm good if they want to ask some questions.
Okay.
Now's the time.
Now's the time. Okay, let's do this.
Okay, I have a question. So when you would go into someone's house and play the 45-minute video for them, giving them water, after the video was over, would you just hand them an order form and say like sign right here, or how would that go?
You guys, I'm still not. You know, some people are hard closers. I'm very easygoing, mellow. it's, you know, most of them, you know, either they got it or they didn't. If they didn't get it right away, then the water, I had to let the water do its job, right?
Okay.
So just like Daniel always says, let the water do the hard selling, right? So however you got to do it, you get the water in them. If you don't get them right away, the water is going to do its job. If they're ready, they're ready. If they're not, you know, let's come back later.
Okay.
You know, you keep dripping on them.
So would you be bringing them water so they could keep trying it and see results?
You know, some people, depending on the person, each case was different.
Okay.
So like I told you, the bulk of my people that were drinking the water were the ones that, you know, the handful of people in my circle that got it. And I would bring a machine, you know, until they got their own machine. Then I didn't have to bring a machine anymore. But we would do a demo twice a week at their house. So people would come there and refill up at the demo twice a week.
Oh,
Same
okay.
with Dr. Dave Lessman. We had 50 people or more coming to his glass house in Manhattan Beach. You
Wow.
know, so I didn't have to deliver a lot of water. You know, they were coming to me and we're just refilling. You know, and
Okay, thank you.
I did give out water, but we kind of did it a little different way. You know, occasionally I still give out water if I have to.
Nice.
If I don't get someone with the information, the demo, stories, you know, more than ever today, we don't have to do the things we did, I think, a while back, because there's a lot more social proof today. You know, we didn't have anything. There was nothing online. You know, we had that one DVD, so we didn't have, you know, all the stories. You know, people can go online and find everything, right? Now we got people doing demos all over the world online. So it's, you know, you got celebrities everywhere. You got what I call the social proof. You know, we don't have to prove anything anymore. So either you see it or you don't, right? You want, there's enough information to give them, you know, enough videos, enough online, you know, YouTube videos, whatever, to show them the benefits.
Okay.
They don't get it, then you might want to feed them some water and let the water do the hard selling.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Hey, Bob.
Tell us who you are and where you're calling in from if you start to ask a question.
This is Marcus from the Tampa area. I'm on Bob's team.
How you doing?
Good. Hey, it's really cool, man. I got to tell you, I just love this call today. You were like, I learned so much about you. It was like, oh, wow. Wow. I will share a couple things with you because it's nice to give back. Today's talk for me was extremely inspiring. And you talked about attraction marketing. The way Lori found out, Lori Valentine, my better half, she had heard about this, and from a person who wasn't even in the business, she got so curious. She went out to Orlando, and you were in the audience, and you weren't even speaking. And then you were asked to go up and speak a little bit, and you just had this calm, non-pressuring presence. And that's what attracted her to find out who you were and reach out to you and say, I want to work with him. And it's been a godsend and a pleasure.
I remember
all these years. So thank you. What's that?
I remember it like yesterday.
Yeah, I won't bogart. I know people have some questions, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for this call. I will put this on my thing to do every week now. And Jim, thank you for having me. So cool, really cool. Thank you. I will blow her a kiss for you. She's half asleep right now.
Well, thanks for being on tonight. Appreciate that. You know, we do this every Thursday night, and you know, I looked at the posting. Someone sent me a message, and it said 6:30 a.m. Glad you guys weren't on at 6:30 a.m. because I wasn't here. So, how about Pat Cassidy? Pat, did you have a question?
Well, actually, I have a comment, and I have to say to Bobby that I have watched your videos for quite some time, done a lot of business because of them. So I just want to thank you for being on tonight. Inspirational, and the message that you send is hard work, consistent over time, can bring good results. So I appreciate that.
Good, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, Pat is one of our top level 6As out in the East Coast, Midwest area, and he's kind of leads that area out there. So he's a great guy. Anybody else have a question? You can unmute yourself, ask your question, tell us who you are, and Belly, looks like you unmuted yourself.
Hi. Hi, Bob. Thank you for sharing your story. I like your concept of attraction marketing. And since, you know, we are restricted to go out like door to door and share the waters and stuff. And I've done that anyway in my neighborhood, and I really got no traction. So I said, well, maybe I should do that. You know, instead of door to door, I'll do it online and do it consistently. So what kind of tips do you have if I were to get myself more online? So, you know, like, is there like a specific target market in order to kind of attract certain group of people to you to, you know, like follow you, say, in this business?
That's a tricky question. So the online marketing is a lot to, you know, you kind of have to find somebody first to follow and learn from. You know, like I said in the beginning, you know, it's kind of new to me, so I'm learning it now. I'm following a few guys that, you know, I got through Eric Worre from GoPro. He's got a couple guys that I bought one of their, I bought his academy, and it had included a couple of, you know, I forgot their names, but they're some, you know, they're online marketing gurus. You know, I'm just starting to go through some of their things. You have to kind of just see what people are doing, you know. I'm still in the learning phase right now. So I'm not a good person to say what to do in that arena because I'm still learning it. You might want to ask David here. He probably can tell you, the 19-year-old.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just find somebody that you like to follow. You know, there's a few big names out there. You can follow some of their, you know, things, what they're teaching, you know, how to post, how to, you know, you don't want to bombard people with your, you know, your product and business right away. It's about connecting with, it's the same thing we really do in person.
Yeah.
Right? It's about making connections, building relationships, and because people will buy from someone they like, right?
Yeah.
I heard someone say, you know, it's not so much about your, and fortunate for us, we have a great product, right? Some people will say, it doesn't matter about your product, but people will buy from you because they like you, you know. But we have a spectacular product, so we have a lot of benefits, you know, there also. But so you just got to make connections and build rapport with people, and then people are going to ask you, you know, what do you do? Then you can start talking about your product, your business. Okay. You know, so that's really pretty much it in a nutshell. You know, there's just a lot of intricacies you can learn, you know, about which I'm learning about funnels right now and things like that. So I'm just kind of gearing up for the future, you know, so we all can learn it, right? I'm gearing up for the future for, I'll call fishing with a bigger net, right? If I can expand my message to 20,000 people at a time compared to one, right? We know it's a numbers game, right? How many more people am I going to bring in? You know, and so that's pretty much what it is, and you know what we all need to learn. You know, if we don't know it, we just take the time to learn it. You know, and I just like Jim said, if you know, that's how I saw people in this too. Once I started going, well, if that person can do it, I said that too with Romy, Jim. I remember like yesterday, I was 3 months in the business, just got to 6A. Daniel asked me to pick Romy up at the airport at LAX and bring him down to our demo at his house. So here I'm picking up Romy, you know. I'm excited to talk to Romy in the hour drive I got going to Daniel's, and all the things I'm asking Romy and what he's telling me, I'm like, is that it? I asked Romy, I go, Romy, can you do the demo tonight? I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna see this Romy's amazing demo. You know, and Romy's very mellow and, you know, kind of laid back and kind of quiet, right? And he goes, oh, no, you guys do the demo. I'll just tell my story afterwards. I left that thinking like Daniel, oh man, if this guy can do it, I know I can do it.
And the thing is, Romy didn't have an ORP meter until like 8 or 9 years into the business. You know, his wife actually bought it. Rosa bought one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pH drops.
Yeah. pH drops.
He bought 200 pH bottles. He still has them today, you guys. Some of them.
So you know, guys, just remember, keep it simple. Don't get scientific. People ask questions, listen to the answers, listen to what the response is, and then build relationships. Just like what Bob was saying, you know, online marketing is nothing more than building relationships. I have to have several Facebook pages because my normal Facebook page, I get a little political sometimes. I get a little hard line on the politics and also on religion. And so it's not the best place to build relationships to get people to want to come in business with you. So you can have more than one Facebook page and build relationships. It's all about building relationships. People buy from people they like and trust.
Right.
And so, and that's what it comes down to. Hey, Bob, I really do appreciate your time. You know, I don't want to keep you any longer. I know that you've had a long day, just like the rest of us. Love to have you back sometime and just kind of, you know, talk some more.
Anytime, let me know.
I'd love to interview your wife with you sometimes too, because, you know, it's like, hey, she's as much part of your team as you are. I remember when you were dating her from afar. You know? And guys, we can't just jump on a jet and fly to South Korea to date someone unless you have the income. So those you single people, if you're looking for a beautiful bride in a different country, you know what? Work your business. Work your business. Because I tell you what, Bob scored. He's got a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, great kids. And so, Bobby, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Tell Jen
Thank
hi.
you, Bobby. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Jim. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Bob.
Bob and
Yep.
Jim.
See you soon.
Thanks.
Please come
Thank
back
you,
and
Bob.
do it again.
All right, will do.
Take care, guys. God bless.